Hello, hello, hello. Today is Thursday. It is time for our weekly follow up. And good grief, we are on week 18, faith trust. We talked about how faith trusts this past week. And thank you to those of you who joined us last week and gave your input. I hope you got a chance to review the video to show how strong your convictions were and the things that you believe in and the things that you are certain of. Hint, hint, that has a whole lot to do with faith and what we put our faith in and how our trust follows our faith. And, it's all intertwined and it's all interconnected. Our faith, our belief system, our work ethic, how we congregate in our churches, how we fellowship with our family. It's all based upon what we believe. It's all based upon what we expect people to give us and how people are to treat us. And once you get it for yourself, you're going to start looking for it in the relationships that you're creating, in the relationships that you have already. And people are going to learn that from you. You're going to be constantly learning. Life is a constant learning lesson, if you hadn't realized that by now. And at this point in our lives, it should be fun. It's challenging in and of itself, but it should be fun too. It should be fun learning and discovering and uncovering things about ourselves that we kind of knew it was there, but now it's a new awareness about what it is. And God is working with us. He's walking with us. He's continuously shaping us in the palm of his hands. He's molding us. It's so funny because now during COVID, I find myself washing my hands a lot. And so the soap in the bathroom is so harsh. It gets them clean. And I can tell that there's no germs or nothing left on my hands when I'm washing my hands. But when I get to my desk, they're so dry. And I have to leave an emollient or an oil or some type of lotion on my desk. And I find myself just constantly, let me pull my screen down, just, wiping it into my hands. And when I do that, it reminds me of how God has us in his hands and he's molding and shaping us. He's soothing us. He's smoothing us. And that's a constant reminder for me because I forget, I don't always have God on my mind, which I should. But now that we're in this age of hand washing and masking up and keeping your distance, I find that with washing my hands, I'm always putting something, a moisturizer or something on my hands to care for my hands. And as I do that, it makes me think about how I'm in the center of God's palm and how he's molding and shaping and rubbing and soothing and caressing me. And I hope you are uncovering new truths about yourself, new discoveries about yourself, because that's what faith does. It trusts that you are going to learn something from these principles and from these practices and from these beliefs that you are incorporating into your life. Let's go ahead and dive into our follow-up this week. We talked about how faith trusts. Don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God, trust in me. Tori talked a little bit last week about how she's a financial advisor and she knows the ins and outs about saving money and investing and all that good stuff that comes with that. And she related it to a trust, a bond, and how when you put your money into these savings bonds that are guaranteed, you don't have to worry about it. It's guaranteed. It's a trust. It's a bond. It's sealed. It's signed, sealed, and waiting to be delivered at just the right time. And isn't God like that? Signed, sealed, and delivered. You know, we worry so much about our future, and we worry so much about how we're going to be taken care of. A lot of times, I'm speaking to myself right now, because I've wasted so much time getting my affairs in order. I've wasted so much time getting my affairs in order. So now I'm scrambling. I'm working hard instead of working smart to try to live the rest of these days to my enjoyment, to God's fulfillment, because I'm always wondering and worried about what the future holds. What if I'm not able to work another 10 years, another 20 years, looking at my bank account and looking at what's in there and what's not in there and what should be in there? It makes me worry about the future. But you know what? Faith, trust. You know, there's passages in the Bible that talks about how if God takes care of the sparrows and the birds of the field, birds of the air and the lilies of the field, that they don't have to work and toil and worry about how they're going to be taken care of from day to day. Why should we? Aren't we worth more than those? Do you see yourself worth more than those? If you don't, you have to start conditioning your mind to know and understand that you're worth just as much to God as those birds and as those sparrows and as those lilies of the field. God takes care of everything he created. God takes care of everything he created, including you, including me. He does. Again, don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust in me. You know, it says, trust in God, trust in me. Not me per se in this pink t-shirt and blue glasses. Jesus says, trust in him. He has gone off ahead of you to prepare a room for you. You know, to prepare, if you believe that Jesus has prepared a room for you, then what are you worried about here? Are you worried about the room that you're in now? Why? Ask yourself why. Why? Is it not to your liking? Is it not to your expectation? Well, you can change that. You can change that. Don't sit around worrying about something that you can change, but refuse to change because you refuse to make a move. Start changing it. If you're able-bodied, able-minded, able heart, change it. If not, then you need to change those things that will allow you to be mobile, that will allow you to be active, that will activate some type of progress in your life to get you those things that you want here in this lifetime. But you know, even in doing that, still have the future forward focus and knowing that God is taking care of everything for you so that whenever your time comes, you're going straight to that room that's already created and already prepared for you. That should excite you. It excites me. I'm always thinking about what my room looks like, how God designed it just for me. Recapping again, don't let your hearts be troubled. These are the words of the one who endured every kind of trouble, every kind of temptation, sorrow, and pain, and yet remained faithful. That's it. And yet remained faithful. You know, God knows that there are going to be times when we just have to worry, when we just have to be concerned. But there's that add-on there. And yet remain faithful. What does that look like to you? Worrying, but still remaining faithful. Being concerned, but still remaining faithful. What does that look like for you? Ask yourself that and write it down, journal it. Journal it in your notebook, what that looks like, so that you won't be so inundated with the worry and the concern and the fear that your focus will lean more towards what that looks like, being faithful about it. Yeah, I'm worried about what life is going to be like for me at 65 in 10 years from now. But you know what? I got up and went to the gym this morning. And if I can make it to the gym at least one day a week, then the worst that I could picture myself at 65 won't be, because I'm doing something about it now. And I'm remaining focused and faithful that I will at least do one thing a week to remain faithful, so that I won't have to worry so much about my future. What else would I like to say about this week? Your troubles, work harder. You know, some of us in this Bible study series are younger than us 50-something-year-olds, or maybe 60-something-year-olds. And so let's leave the working harder to them. We should be working smarter. You know, we should be living our lives in such a way that, you know, we're sharing with younger folks how life was back in the day, when we were excited about life, when we had a zeal about life, when we were just learning about God and how good He is. And there was nothing traumatic going on in our lives. There was nothing stressful going on in our lives. Well, nothing too much. We were just on a high, a spiritual high for the Lord, you know, and that should not decrease. That should not just faint away and go away. It still should be there. And we should be sharing that with whomever we encounter, with our children still, with our grandchildren, with our nieces, nephews, whomever. You are here now to be inspiring, to be impressionable upon others. Faith allows you to do that. Trust that your faith will allow you to do that. Again, if you have not read the scriptures in Isaiah 43, verse 1-5, do that. There's so much encouragement in there. There's a beautiful promise for you in that. Just the passages from 1-5. Just read those, be encouraged by those. And I look so forward to meeting with you guys next week. Next week is going to be, it's the 21st. We're going to be on week 19. I do have a conflict with next week, but I will get the video out to you guys, and be looking for information from me in your texts and in your emails. But until then, enjoy week 18. Faith teaches us that faith trusts, and allow you to be more trusting because of the faith that you're developing right now. See you guys next week.